Headlines. Good morning, friends and family. Morning, lines of CO2 at 201C1. Good morning, lines in Australia. Good morning, lines internationally. Hope you're all well. My name's Andrew Stacey. I'm from the City of Adelaide Lions Club. Obviously here in Adelaide, South Australia. Off on my morning walk, Sunday walk for our Lions Get Active, raising awareness in diabetes and wellness, or well-being. So I hope you're all well. Hope you've all recovered from our Easter weekends last weekend and your sugar highs from eating lots of chocolate eggs and bunnies and all that sort of stuff. Hope you were able to get in contact with your friends. You might have been able to visit some family, outside homes, as I was able to do with my parents and my wife's parents. But I hope you're all well on this Sunday morning. Here in Adelaide it's a bit cloudy. Had a bit of rain last night, so hopefully I don't get rain on today. There's a few people walking where I am this morning. Morning, honey. A few people walking around the Gazer Park, Gazer Footy Club Oval where I am this morning, which is where I have been for the last few weeks. For those who are new to following me this morning, or if you're following me later on this arvo, or today I mean. Beautiful footy oval here at Gazer. So this is my local footy club, so hopefully you're getting your exercise in where you are locally, which is obviously part of the government restrictions with the coronavirus on at the moment. Morning Brad, how are you? Brad, my mate from Singapore. Singapore is where we're supposed to be going for our international convention this year, but obviously that's been cancelled. Yeah, hopefully you're all well. Got a question for you though. How's your enthusiasm for exercise this morning? I must admit, I'll be a bit honest with everyone. I hope I'm in a safe space with everyone today. Yeah, must admit my enthusiasm for exercise this morning isn't great. And so that's probably one of the things that's probably worthwhile to have a chat about. If you're new to exercising again, if it's been a while and you've been getting into some exercise, through this program, it's completely common and completely natural that at some point after your initial enthusiasm to exercise, that it dies away, and sometimes you find it hard to get up in the morning or to get out whatever time it is during the day that you're doing it to get your exercise going, that you might not quite feel up to it. Brad, it's a much better. Probably I do need to step up from that, mate. My friend there in Singapore is about to go for a run, just a nice casual stroll for about 10 k's. So that's fantastic on you, Brad. That's a much bigger step from me. Good on you, man. So I'm keeping it simple, obviously, with these walks for this Lions Get Active program. But if you're stepping it up and get on the bike and doing 25k rides or 10k runs, or you like to swim, not sure if you're able to do that in these restrictions, then go for it. Do whatever you're able to. Brad, that's fantastic. Putting me to absolute shame, well, that's fine. If you want to post me about how you put me to shame with your exercise, that's fine as well, guys. Yeah, look, it's certainly common, so don't feel like anything is wrong. If you start exercising again for the first time in a while, we always have that initial burst of enthusiasm to get into exercise, whether it's weight training or jogging or walking or cycling. The first few weeks, usually you're pretty pumped. You've got your goals set that you want to try to achieve, and you head out with a full head of steam. But it's completely common, completely natural that after a few weeks, that natural enthusiasm wanes away. And I must admit, I'm feeling a bit of that today. So if you're feeling that with me, that's all fine. I know my wife Patria's on the bike this morning, so hello, hun. If you're on the exercise bike, or you're on your treadmill, or you're about to get on the bike to get out on the streets, wherever you are, that's fantastic, keep it up. But I say, Meg, how are you? Hope you're well. Looking forward to a cabinet meeting this morning. Hope you're getting some exercise in as well, my dear. Yeah, so it's completely normal if that enthusiasm wanes away. So it's really worthwhile that if you're smart about how you exercise, you actually need to figure out strategically how you're going to get past those down days, those days that you really don't want to exercise but you should. We all get them. Sometimes they last a session, sometimes they last a week, sometimes they might last a month or two. And they're those plateaus that we all get whenever we exercise. If you're a weight trainer, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. When you're weight training and you're constantly pushing your muscles to push more weight, it's absolutely inevitable that you're going to feel it once or twice, depending on how long you are weight training for, that you go through that plateau of how much you're going to push, how much you're going to weight, how much you're going to actually push through your resistance through the weight training. I'm just looking around just to make sure I don't knock anyone over. I've got my girls out here today. Scotty, how are you, mate? Can you do your push-ups yet, buddy? Hope your injury's doing all right. Yeah, so it's a matter of actually having a bit of strategic plan as to how you get around those dull moments, those times where you don't want to get out of bed and do the exercise. And I know it's hard during these times, but usually that's where you rely on a partner to get you through, a training partner of some description. You might need to set yourself a new goal as to what you want to achieve. Maybe you might want to try and do something shorter and sharper and shinier. So maybe instead of doing a 10k ride, you do a 3k ride, but you try and do it in a much faster time. One of my spanner daughters going right past me right there. Yeah, so maybe having those dull moments is an opportunity to change what you're doing slightly. There are different ways of... Hey Peter, thank you buddy. I hope you're walking too or doing something. Or maybe you're gonna get some exercise in. Like I said, we've got a cabinet meeting this morning on Zoom. So I hope all you Lion clubs out there are finding your way to still get your meetings in. City of Adelaide and across the cabinet of 20121, we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings. So if you haven't used Zoom, awesome platform to still get meetings done. Slightly different, still a video chat like any other video chats, but the way the platform works is you can invite however many people you want. It's free if your meetings only go for 40 minutes or less. You've got to pay for it if you want your meetings to go longer. But it's a great way of, the video itself highlights whoever is talking at that point in time. And the other participants, you can see them around your screen depending on how many people you've got in your meeting. So it's a really good video calling system. Plenty of video calling systems out there. So choose whichever suits you and your club and your members and what technology they've got as well. So obviously with Zoom you need to make sure you've got headphones or a microphone, or at least have that inbuilt within your computers or laptop or whatever it is that you're using, whatever technology you're using, whether it's your phone or tablets. You can make sure you have obviously have an audio microphone so you can talk. But it's a good one so you can see who's talking at that time. You can even set rules as to hand raising as to who can talk next. You can even change the backgrounds a little bit cheeky, really. Yeah. So like I said, when you're exercising, you've got those plateaus. It's really worthwhile to find a way to get through those plateaus. I see you can see they might be dull at times, but you're going to find ways to spice things up and to keep on pushing through. You know, there are a few keys when it comes to exercise, and probably the two biggest keys really. One is consistency. If you just do a couple of one-offs, while you might feel good for those one-offs, obviously in the long term that does nothing. So you've got to consistently exercise and consistently get out there and do things. Changing up as to what the exercise is, that's not a problem. You've got to make sure you're consistent with it. So I know while I'm doing these walks on a Sunday morning, I'm at least consistent with that. I'm trying to make sure, I usually have other sports to play during the week, so I need to find ways to keep busy during the week.
Sorry, it's dead.
And the other key to exercising is actually your food intake. It's actually your nutrition. I mentioned a few weeks before, depending on what your goal is for exercise, what you put into your body and your fuel is actually probably more important, at least as important, but usually more important than the actual exercise itself. So if you're doing walking like me, and I'm not getting up a sweat, I'm a little bit out of breath. If you're walking, with people, just to make sure that you're keeping your mobility going, that's good for your general health. Then you obviously want to make sure that what you're eating is still going to match that or better it. If you're trying to lose weight though, here's a couple of tips for you. You obviously need to make sure that you're burning more calories than what you're eating. Now I know most people know that, but the other thing that people need to do, and it sounds a bit counterproductive, but this is the way our bodies work, is if you're trying to lose weight, two things you need to do with your exercise and your nutrition is, one, you need to make sure that you exercise for at least 20 minutes and you're getting out of breath. If you're able to talk like I am, you're not exercising hard enough. Now, obviously work slowly if you've never exercised before, don't be silly about it. But if you want to lose weight, you've got to exercise for at least 20 minutes because that gets past the sugar burning stage of our body and gets to the fat burning stage. But you need to make sure that you eat after exercise. No point eating beforehand. You need to eat afterwards. And that's for two reasons. One, you don't want to put obviously any calories into your body and then exercise them off if you're trying to lose weight. The second reason is that you need to replenish your energy stores after you exercise. Now, I know that sounds counterproductive if you're losing weight, but you're hopefully burning less sugar and more fat if you don't eat before you exercise, and we need to eat to replenish our energy stores afterwards. By exercising, we get our metabolism up and running, and so that metabolism obviously runs for a little bit longer. And when you eat, because you're using energy to do that, you actually keep your metabolism up a little bit. Sort of goes up and down in waves as the day goes on. So when you exercise, it obviously goes higher again. So that's why it's actually important to eat after you exercise. Now that's whether you're wanting to lose weight, or alternative, if you want to put on weight, if you're trying to put on muscle and you do weight training or other forms of exercise to put on muscle, the tips are this: you need to eat more calories than what you burn because you're trying to put weight on, and opposite to, or contradictory to what I said about losing weight, it's okay, and you need to eat beforehand, before you exercise, and then definitely afterwards. You need to eat a protein-rich meal within half an hour, 45 minutes of the exercise that you do, the weight training that you do. Again, to get your muscles to be able to recover well, and to be able to put on, and for the recovery of your muscles ready for your next workout. When you do see if I can speak English. When you weight train and you're trying to put muscle on, what you're actually trying to do is when you're pushing those weights beyond being comfortable, you don't want to do weights obviously that easy. When you're struggling with those weights in those last few reps, you're actually microscopically tearing the muscles. That's what, so when they repair themselves because of the protein you eat, that's how and when they get bigger. So that's why it's a consistency approach to putting up to weight training, if that's what you're trying to do and you're trying to gain muscle. Beck, how are you? Hope you're well. Haven't heard of your ages. Heard from your ages. Hope you're alright. Just checking out, make sure my girls are alright. Yeah, so as I was saying, if you're trying to put on weight, you're putting in microscopic tears into the muscle. The protein that you eat is there to try and replenish the muscles through recovery and actual repair. And that's what gains the muscle size. Over time, obviously, plenty of time. But that's what's actually happening. So it's actually good to eat beforehand and after the exercise. Like I said, if you're just trying to lose weight, don't eat before you exercise, eat afterwards. Make sure you're drinking heaps, all that sort of stuff as well. So they're actually the keys to weight gain and weight loss, depending on what you want to do. I mean, as I said a few weeks ago, if you're walking like I am and you can talk, you're walking for your general wellness, which is great. If you're wanting to actually lose weight, and if you can talk, you can probably work a little bit harder. But you need to exercise for 20 minutes or more. You've got to get your heart rate up. You've got to make sure your heartbeat is actually pumping. If you're getting a bit of a sweat on, then that's even better. But you've got to make sure that your heart rate is actually elevated to lose weight. If your heart rate is not elevated, not increasing, you're not wasting your time, but you're not going to lose the weight that you're hoping to lose. Now, if you're exercising to gain fitness, that's where you've really got to get out of breath. You've got to find ways to exercise that really pushes your how well your heart is working. Because the whole point of when you talk fitness, we can actually talk about our muscle fitness, our heart fitness. And usually when we're talking about fitness, people want to run longer or cycle longer or swim further. And that's where that's where you're actually building your heart muscle to actually be able to push longer, to push more blood through your body with less beats of your heart. And that's what you actually try and do when you do cardio exercise. And so, different ways of doing cardio. You can even do cardio while you're doing weights. But I'll talk about that another time if anyone has interest in that. So they're the differences if you're exercising. General wellness, like a bit of a walk like I'm doing, is great for general wellness, making sure you're trying to keep heart disease down, trying to keep diabetes management under control, liver function, all that sort of stuff. If you're wanting to lose weight, you've got to do it for at least 20 minutes, and you need to get your heart rate up. You've got to get out of breath. All right, get past the 20 minutes where you're using sugar for energy to get to the point where you're using your fat stores as energy. And then if you want to increase your fitness, you obviously got to get your heart rate up a bit more, exercise either longer or harder or more intensity. There's different ways to do that. And so again, I can always, if anyone's got any questions about that, I can always share that another time. I'm using this platform just to have a chat to you guys as Lion members, as friends of Lions, as even just my personal friends. So I appreciate you joining me online this morning. If you're watching me later today, I hope you had a great day. Hope you're going to hope the rest of your day is great. And so I appreciate you following me and watching and taking the time just to watch these videos. As I've said with previous videos, if you've got any questions about Lions clubs, about wellness, about diabetes, throw them my way, give us a message, send me an email. If you've got my email, message is probably here on Facebook is probably the easiest way. You've got, if you're following me, you're clearly on the City of Adelaide Lions page. I share this video on my personal page as well. So please send me a message. Happy to answer any questions as best as possible. I can always talk about them next week when I'm on my run, on my walk. If you've got any question about Lions clubs, happy to answer them. There's our Facebook, there's Lions Facebook page, there's a district Lions page, there's district website, there's club websites. So plenty of ways of checking out and getting your information. My name's Andrew. I'm going to leave it there today. I'm from the City of Adelaide Lions Club. This is the program that we call our Lions Get Active, raising awareness for diabetes and well-being. Next week, next Sunday, I'll still be exercising, but I'm going to change the time to 8 o'clock. I was doing 8 o'clock at these times, anticipating, like we have done for the last number of years, where March and April are usually still quite warm. So I was starting these walks at 8 o'clock just to try and beat the heat. Doesn't seem to be happening. The heat doesn't seem to be hitting us. So I'm going to change the exercise time to 9 o'clock next Sunday. So please join me then. Keep up with your exercise routines up until then, guys. Join me next week, 9 o'clock. I'll still be here at Gazer, so please exercise in your local area. If you've got any questions, please let me know. If you've got any photographs of how you're getting your exercise in, please post them on this page or send them to me and I'll post them if you give me permission. Keep up the good work. If you're going through those lulls of your enthusiasm dropping a little bit for exercise, that's fine. Find a way to work through them. If you want to ask me how to work through them, send me a question and I'll throw out a few suggestions. So with that, I'll leave it. I hope you're all well. Have a great Sunday, everyone. And I'll see you next week at 9 o'clock. Cheers, guys.